Hi, I'm Alex, and this is Pucks and Paperbacks. I read 17 books in June, so let's talk about them. This was my most read month, and I just started picking up short things, and I just ran with it. I participated in the Queer Romance Readathon. I was a co-host for that, and I also participated in the Queer Lit Readathon. I have a vlog for that, so I'll have it linked down below, and just all the information for the readathons. Let's get started. I started off the month reading a few picture books that I received through NetGalley. First, I read Me and My Dysphoria Monster by Laura Kate Dale. This is by a trans author, and it is an empowering story to help children cope with gender dysphoria. Trigger warnings for misgendering and detailed depictions of gender dysphoria, but I thought this was just really well done. I just loved it because I just knew that I wish I had this as a kid as soon as I started reading it. It follows Nisha, who is a trans girl, and it is her experiencing gender dysphoria in the form of a monster. And I've just been really enjoying the way that monsters are depicted in picture books as feelings or emotions, and we really just get to see the progress of Nisha trying to defeat her gender dysphoria by socially transitioning. And it's also a really informative book for parents of trans kids. It teaches parents how to go about their kids coming out to them as trans. And the author states to give them affirming care, which I absolutely agree with. That is going to save so many trans kids' lives if there are parents who just believe them. And I just loved this book so much that I'm gonna buy myself a copy. Then I read Hello Anger by Jessica Sinarski, and I thought this one was fine. I like the message because it talks about forms of anger, why we get angry, and basically coping mechanisms and how to just talk your way through whatever is happening. However, there is a disabled character who is bullied, and the teacher tells them to forgive the person. And I just feel like there could have been a bigger conversation there. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'll see if there's any reviews from disabled reviewers talking about this, but I just felt weird about it. So I'll see if any disabled reviewers felt the same way. But I thought this was fine, like a fine introduction to anger management, but I just thought it was fine. Then I read Slip by Marika Makula and Atmaja Panja. I was sent a copy of this by Algonquin Young Readers, and I have a whole reading vlog where I read this. I really enjoyed this. I recommended it in my book recommendation video. If you liked this queer book, try that one. I'll have it linked up above. So I really enjoyed this one. I loved it as a creative person. This is about a girl named Jade who goes to a summer art program, and before she leaves, she's told that her best friend Phoebe has attempted suicide. And this is just about her feeling helpless. She's not with her best friend. She is away from her and she doesn't have any contact, and she's terrified, and that results in her having a creative burnout and just not feeling inspiration. And there's also a summer fling going on, and I just really enjoyed this one. I posted my full review on Instagram, so I'll have it linked down below. Then I read The Big Book of Pride Flags, which I was also sent through NetGalley, and I just feel like I can't review this one. I was hoping that I would learn a little bit about pride flags, which I did, but I have read some reviews saying that there weren't as many pride flags as they expected, and I just feel like I'm not equipped enough to review this. I don't know a lot about pride flags or the history. This just goes through the origin stories of each pride flag, including the Gilbert Baker, rainbow, agender, aromantic, asexual, bisexual, demisexual, gay, or Achillean, gender fluid, gender queer, intersex, lesbian, pansexual, polysexual, non-binary, transgender, and the progress pride flag. So those are all of them, but a lot of people were saying that it's called the Big Book of Pride Flags, but there's not enough. There's not like every single one, and I think it might have just been the marketing problem, but I appreciated it because I got to learn about how the trans flag was created, but it didn't really stick with me. So that's it for that one. Then I read a middle grade graphic novel, Allergic, and I've been wanting to get to this one, and I loved it. This is about an 11-year-old girl, Maggie, and on her 11th birthday, she's told she can get a dog. And when she goes to visit said dog, she breaks out in hives, and she learns she is allergic to animals or anything with fur or feathers, and she is devastated. I just really enjoyed this because it just talks about being allergic to animals. That is something that I don't know too much about. And so I was able to read it for the disability reading challenge that I'm participating in. I'll have the info down below if you want to join me. But I didn't know a lot, and now I do. I had like some brief knowledge of knowing about EpiPens and stuff from working with children, but besides that, I don't really know much. And I just appreciated this graphic novel because it doesn't just talk about that, it talks about being an older sibling and feeling lonely. She really felt lonely because she was going to get this dog, it was going to be hers, and then she just realizes she can't, and she's really sad, and that is valid. And I just think that this was just really good. I really loved it. Her twin siblings both have each other, and she just feels like she doesn't have anyone. And she just learns her purpose, and I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. Then for my queer graphic novels reading vlog, I also read Welcome to St. Hell by Lewis Hancock. I was sent this by Scholastic in exchange for an honest review, and I really enjoyed this. I just saw myself a lot in Lewis. This is Lewis's graphic memoir, and I just really appreciated it because I love reading from older trans people and just trans guys that I resonate with. He was a skater, he loves pop punk music, and I just really felt for him. I just love graphic memoirs, and I really enjoyed this. I have not been able to read a graphic memoir or any trans memoir that isn't super heavy, and so this one was funny, and I really appreciated that because I need me some comic relief when we're talking about serious issues like transitioning, transphobia, and things like that. So I just really enjoyed this. There's a lot of trigger warnings, so I will have my review down below because there's a lot of them. Just a tip though, for any cis person, when you're talking about a trans person in past tense, always use their current name and pronouns. So when we're talking about Lewis, always say he and don't say she. What I loved most is this is him going back to high school and following his teenage self and telling him that it's going to be okay. And I really loved that and made me think, what would I say to my past self? Next, I read a lot of books for the Queer Lit Readathon, including Love is Love, and this was just fine. It's a comic anthology. It's just to honor the victims of the Pulse shooting. I appreciated it. There were some I liked and some I didn't, and that's that. Then I read the poetry collection There Are Trans People Here by H. Melt, and I loved this. I need to pick up a copy because it was awesome. My favorite poem was If You Are Over Cis People. It was short and sweet. It talks about trans liberation and trans joy, and I just think if you're craving some of that, this is the perfect poetry collection for you to pick up. And then, if you've been following me all month, you may know that I have a new favorite book. It's called A Lot's Away by Darcy Little Badger. Have you heard of it before? I loved this so much, and I just want to reread it. I love that this year is the year of me finding books that I just want to reread, because this and Cafe Con Leche and Icebreaker, I just want to reread them because they were so amazing. And this was just so great. This is about Ellie, or Latsue. She's Lipan Apache. She's also asexual. It is about her trying to figure out what happened to her cousin Trevor, who was murdered. There's vampires, there's ghosts, there's ghost dogs. It's a fun time, and I loved it so much. Another graphic novel I read for my queer graphic novels vlog was Beetle and the Hollow Bones, and it was so great. It has goblins, witches, and skeletons, and there is a sapphic romance. This book I included for the queer romance readathon because it had a little romance and I really appreciated it. It is about a girl, Beetle, who is a goblin, and her friend, Blob Ghost, who is non-binary. They are trapped in a mall. And so it is up to Beetle to try and figure this out. Then her childhood friend, Cat Hollowbones, comes to visit as she is being an apprentice for her grandmother, and they kind of rekindle their friendship. There's a cute little romance, and they try and save Blob Ghost, and it was just awesome. The illustrations alone were awesome. I really appreciated the skeleton work, and I just want to read about skeletons now. So if you have any skeleton books, hit me up because I'm looking for them. For the Queer Romance Readathon, I read the novella Get It Right by Skye Killian, and I liked this. Let's talk about it. This is about a butch lesbian parole and a pansexual nurse. They met each other when Finn was in jail, and they kind of just like rekindled their friendship and relationship. Finn lives with chronic migraines, and I really appreciated that representation because I haven't read from it before, and it was recommended by a disabled reviewer on Bookstagram. I just thought it was nice seeing that representation because I really have never seen it in a book before, and I liked the sex scenes. They were awesome. And we also had polyamorous rep, and we also had a full queer cast. Like, there's just casual bisexual people. It just felt refreshing having an all queer cast. So I enjoyed the story and I enjoyed the characters, but I just thought it was okay. The writing kind of threw me off a little bit, which was surprising because that never happens to me, but I think I was just getting into a new author, and I would pick up more of her work because I really did appreciate the book and I enjoyed it, but I just thought it was okay. It's not my favorite thing, but I do appreciate what it offered and what was in it because it is still a really good story. Then one day I went to the library to work and I saw I Am Jazz. I had 15 minutes before my ride came, so I read the picture book I Am Jazz because I have no self-control and cannot sit still. So I was like, hey, I think I'll have time to read this picture book. It was a whole, I'll insert a picture. There's a whole table for Pride near the kids section, and I saw I Am Jazz, and I've never read it before, so I wanted to. But I read some other reviews and want to reflect because I just feel like some books I'm not good at reviewing, and I think that's fine. So I didn't really have any problems. I just knew of Jazz from her TV show. That was really my first time learning about trans people before I knew I was trans. So I didn't really have any problems with this, but I did see what other reviewers were talking about. This is not every trans person's experience. It just talks about her learning she was trans and not wanting to play with boy things, and she wanted to play with girl things. However, that is not the experience for every trans kid, but I think that this is a good introduction. I just think that if you're only going to read this one, that's your first problem, because you should read this and then read some others like Too Bright to See. There are really great trans and queer picture books, so let me know if you would like to see a video of me recommending a few, and I'll definitely make it because I have been wanting to. I don't think that there's enough picture book content on YouTube, so I definitely want to add to that conversation. So let me know in the comments what you think, if you would like to see that, and I'll definitely do it. But I just thought that this was a good introduction, but I agree with a lot of the other reviews because people were like, this is a little too gendered. But that was her experience, so I don't really want to discredit her experience because some people do know when they're a kid and they gravitate towards more gendered things. And I don't think that that's a bad thing, but I think we need to remember that not every trans person goes through that experience. So we need more that aren't just from that perspective. So those are my thoughts on I Am Jazz. I don't think it was horrible. I really just enjoyed it, but I think that if I read it more and could critically assess it, then I would have a better review, but I do agree with what other people were saying. Then I read the Queer Romance Readathon group book, Drag Me Up. Please go and watch our live stream because it was amazing. I had so much fun. So thank you to Bethany for asking me to host because I had such a fun time. I have never laughed that hard in such a long time. So if you need a good laugh, go and watch it because it was hilarious and funny. And I just had such a good time. And Drag Me Up, whoa. So this is Drag Me Up by R.M. Virtues. It is a mythology series, and this was the first book. It is about Hades and Persephone. Persephone is an acrobat. She's also black and trans. A lot of the cast is black. I'm pretty sure all of the cast is. And we also have Hades, who is black, demisexual, and pansexual, and it is a steamy book. I want to credit the author for doing a really good job with the mythology because I don't know anything about it. I read it on my Kindle app and I really appreciated that because I could just click to try and figure out who everyone was. I read it really slowly because I didn't know a lot about mythology, so I was kind of stopping to figure out who was who because there's a really large cast. But in the end, I really enjoyed it. It is very steamy, so trigger warning for erotica. It is an erotic romance, and it was a time. I was really glad that we picked this because it was a really fun read. It was fun to discuss, and I do want to read the rest of the series. The next book is Aphrodite, and I'm really excited. This is basically set at a casino. It's Hades Casino, and I just thought it was really good. Another graphic novel I read for my queer graphic novelist vlog was Across a Field of Starlight, and this one was just really sci-fi heavy. I talk about it more in that video, but I want to acknowledge that there was some black reviewers saying that they didn't like the way the black character was done and they were uncomfortable because it was not an Own Voices book, and so I just want to put that out there. This was just too sci-fi heavy for me, but I did appreciate the trans rep. We have a trans man, we have two non-binary characters who are our main characters, and it was just nice to see that representation and get to see our more masculine non-binary character kind of transition, and I just really enjoyed the subtle trans rep. Now I am down to the final two books. I ended out the month reading Cafe con Leche, and I loved it so much, and I honestly want to pick up Meet Cute Diary by Emery Lee. Then I'm not gonna have any more of her books, so like I am in a predicament. I loved this so much. It was fast-paced. It was written really well. I love these characters so much. Theo is my everything, and I just love dark characters who are going through hell. I loved it. I have tabbed it so much. I just related to Theo on a personal level so much. I cried. So that just automatically makes me love it, but the hate to love was so strong in this book, and it was everything. I loved this so much. Theo has ADHD, and he just talks about feeling like he's worthless and a failure to his family. And this is about Theo and Gabby. They both work at their parents' Puerto Rican bakeries, and they're rivals, and they're both just trying to save the bakeries and also just get through life. They both are on the soccer team, so this is a queer sports book. There are trigger warnings for homophobia, and we just get to see two different perspectives of two gay kids. We have Gabby, who is in the closet for his own safety, and we really get to see how he struggles with that. And then we also get to see how Theo struggles with being openly gay, but his parents haven't really talked much about it, and he just has such a different perception of himself. We just get to see how he feels about himself, and I just loved this. It was just so good. I honestly hope I'm making any sense because I just love this so much. I did read this for a reading vlog, so hopefully that'll be out this month. But oh my god, this was awesome, and so please go and pick it up and read it because it was just great. I just thought it was fantastic, and I can't wait to read more of Emery Lee's work because he is just amazing. This was amazing. Then I ended out the month reading a webcomic called Aro Acing It by Alex Graldins. This is about Alex learning that she is Aro Ace, and I really enjoyed it. It was funny and also talks about the importance of ace representation and just representation in general, because that is how she figured out about herself. This was a perfect way to end out Pride because it talks about ace erasure and the way that people just erase Aro Ace folks from the community, and it is not good because a lot of people feel like they aren't supported or they shouldn't be at Pride. And I saw a lot of that during Pride where people were kind of assuming that straight people were at Pride, which is not a bad thing, but I just think that we need to really work on the way that we accept people and the way that we talk, because we should be welcoming as the LGBTQ plus community, but that's not the case. And seeing it during June really infuriates me as a straight trans man. And it's like, we really need to work on our language because everybody is accepted at Pride. Everybody should be allowed at Pride. And you shouldn't assume someone's sexuality by looking at them or gender by looking at them. And so I really appreciated this because Alex talks about representation in media and seeing Jughead be Ace and just watching Riverdale and seeing him be erased, and I really just appreciated this, so I'll have it linked down below if you want to pick it up and read it. This is a webcomic, but you can also buy a copy from her Etsy. I'll have all the links down below. I just thought this was awesome. It made me laugh, but also made me feel really good. Let me know what you read in June, what your favorite book was. Let's talk in the comments, and if you don't feel like it, just comment a rainbow emoji down below so I know that you stayed. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps with my channel when you do. And if you want to hear more about queer and trans books, feel free to hit subscribe. Goodbye.